Back at Reliant Park, the Champ Car World Series, the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston, second race of the 2006 season here on Speed. Wednesday night on Unique Whips. Will & Company go old school. Atlanta Braves superstar Andrew Jones is Buick Electra. It's an all-new Unique Whips. 10 Eastern, Wednesday night only here on Speed. With the Beacon, Cybrick Benjamin, Bill Stevens, Cameron Steele on pit road. The CCWS car of Justin Wilson, twice a winner last season, second in the championship standings after Long Beach. And Jan, we talked about how he is really starting to get the job done. Got back on the lead lap. He's moved to 12th right now. Cameron Steele.
I'm here in the Catherine Legg pit, and what's going on is not only are they replacing the wing, but the plates that mount the wing were also damaged. That is taking longer than they thought. The team is saying they are going to send her back out, hoping that other cars drop out in a case to get more points.
Well, you need to make laps, and she needs seat time as well. So that's an important decision, I think, made by Jim McGee and Jimmy Vassar.
Well, it's also one that is something you want to do. It's kind of the get back on the horse type of thing.
Yeah.
You want to be tuned up for the next event and go out and get some seat time.
Watching Dominguez, Bourdais, and Tracy, top three through the turn 4 area. This is right in front of the old Astrodome here at Reliant Park. Dominguez managing to hold off Bourdais.
Now, you had said to me that, Mario had done a fantastic job because it didn't appear as though he had the same car that Bourdais did. I agree with you. He was in big trouble on the Reds, but I do believe on the primary tire, on the Bridgestone, that Mario Dominguez can keep him at bay. And so if he just can now stay consistent, because as this goes on, it's going to get easier for Dominguez.
44 to go. Bill Stevens, what's going on at your end of pit road?
Well, one of the busiest men on pit road is Craig Hampson. What a night you've had. The pit lane coming apart. Your driver being warned for passing, for blocking rather. What is your main priority right now? What's the focus, Craig?
Well, I think right now we're just holding where we are, hoping we don't have to deal with Tracy behind us, and I think we're just content to run behind Mario. What we're hoping to do is go one lap further than Mario and Paul on fuel. We're working really hard to make good fuel mileage right now. If we go that one lap further, potentially we can pass them. If we have a good pit stop, the pit lane's a bit of a worry. We've moved our marks. We're going to try and stop them in a different spot, and hopefully we have a smooth stop this time.
The gears are turning down here.
And it's a case where when you want to save fuel, what they're calling Sebastian Bourdais and say, save us some fuel, at the end of any straightaway where you have to lift off the throttle, you just lift off the throttle a fraction of a second earlier than you would do normally. There's no electronic adjustments, nothing in the car you can do. It all has to be manually, just by the way you drive the car. Sebastian Bourdais, of course, has lots of practice at that.
Sure.
Again, he has plenty of fuel to make it, but if he can go one more lap, he's going to be on the track going faster with a light load, while everyone else will be heavy with fuel.
Overhead view here at Reliant Park. Battle up front. The two Forsyth Index machines bracketing Sebastian Bourdais in the McDonald's car number 1. Dominguez with about a 10-car length lead and a good jump off the corner. He added to the lead there momentarily over Bourdais. Now Bourdais on those Bridgestone Reds, the all-event tires that his car has not really liked all weekend long.
And they're going to get worse. And Paul Tracy can come. You can see from that onboard shot, he's definitely on the primaries as well. If I was Paul Tracy, I know he's trying. Paul Tracy needs to get right on top of Bourdais and see if Bourdais will throw him another block.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Just fake him into making a block because he's been warned, and that's something he cannot do. He does really need, if he wants to help out Mario, and of course he'd like to have the spot, he needs to worry Bourdais.
Best rivalry in open wheel racing in the eyes of many. The one between Bourdais and Tracy really raged last year at Monterrey, Mexico. Thunderdora Park, they got together. That was the first time in 2005. Then, of course, they had the big tangle, of course, at Toronto and the huge hit at Las Vegas late in the year. First time for the series back in Houston since 2001. Brand new facility, brand new racetrack laid out here at Reliant Park, and a great crowd on hand tonight. Really a testimony, I think, to the MyJack folks, Mike Lanigan and his team, that staged this race. They'll be the promoters at Cleveland this year and for many years to come as well. And all the facility here really laid out beautifully. There's plenty of grandstands and a lot of fun things for the fans to enjoy. And it's been a terrific weekend. We've really enjoyed our trip to Houston here this year as well.
They have some options as well as the way the circuit can be configured, and they've learned some things definitely here the first time around. My guess is that when they come back, they can do more grinding, they can change the configuration, and then really spruce it up, make it smoother and more passing zones.
And a great package really for the fans. The American Le Mans Series was here earlier in the weekend, the Champ Car Atlantic Championship along with the Star Mazda Series. So fans certainly have had a great value for their entertainment dollar this weekend. Sebastian Bourdais, the McDonald's car number 1, the Newman Haas team, the Team Centrix entry.
Meaning that his fuel number, that means they can make the extra lap. I mean, reading between the lines, Craig Hampson just said that was their goal, and he says, now we're okay. So meaning, I'm okay. I can make another lap. I can use a little more fuel because I don't like seeing Paul Tracy in my mirrors.
Yeah. And that could be the turning point as well. You know, a lot of these races are won on fuel strategy and pit road activity, whether you get a quicker stop, whether you stop at the right time. Now, Paul Tracy, over the last 5 laps, his lap times have started to come down. Of course, the fuel load's getting lower.
Yes, and Paul Tracy and the Forsythe Index team have some new software, as some of the other teams use as well. It's like an intelligent software that calculates your pit window and other people's, so they might be doing the same thing.
Alex Tagliani up there right behind A.J. Allmendinger, but he's getting pressure now from Bruno Junqueira, who seems to have solved some of his problems. Here's Tag in the Aussie Vineyards Team Australia car. Right up behind A.J. Allmendinger, about half a second separating those two cars. On outside pole sitter Bruno Junqueira, the hole-in-the-wall Camp's car.
He's close enough to where you might start seeing that flashing light at the back. Cosworth power to pass with that 75 horsepower seems to be very effective. He said use it if you need it. That's power to pass.
Here comes Allmendinger, still ahead of Tagliani, 4th and 5th. Oh,
they both shortcut.
Yeah, Tag and Allmendinger are both missing the second part of the chicane there.
He's so focused on Allmendinger.
Here comes Tagliani now. Is he on the button?
I don't think he needed to be. I think Allmendinger's in trouble.
Tagliani getting by Allmendinger on the inside. So AJ, who was 4th,
here comes
now
Bruno.
Slipping off the pace, and Junqueira. Allmendinger moves around him.
Don't try it there. Yikes!
Bruno to the outside, heading to 5.
Don't touch him. Yikes!
Oh, they get together. They get together.
He keeps going. Awesome.
Avoided a huge hit. Allmendinger back on the throttle. Now here comes Will Power in the mix. That's the other green and yellow car. Allmendinger struggling. He's really got a problem. Now he may have a tire down. I think he's got a cut tire. Junqueira gets by. Serbia trying to get by. Will Power is there in the mix, and Allmendinger's holding them up at the moment. He wants to get to pit road. Bill Stevens.
And one of the reasons A.J. Allmendinger in trouble is because he told his crew just about 10 laps ago his tires were going away fast, and now you're seeing the product of that.
Allmendinger really struggling to hang on to the race car. Down the inside, Andrew Ranger forces Will Power offline. Power cuts through.
And that was a good pass in my view. I think Will Power should let him through. Wow, Oriol Serbia with a big power slide.
Trying to get around, and Allmendinger moves up the racetrack and lets both Serbia and Zwolsman get by. So Tagliani is now 4th, Junqueira 5th, Allmendinger getting shuffled back behind Serbia and behind Zwolsman, who is 7th. Allmendinger, his fastest lap, a 1:01. Last lap, 6.5 seconds slower, so you know.
Well, yeah, but he was like sideways, almost stopped. Chug. You know, he and Junqueira getting together, and amazing these guys even kept moving.
Now he's got the softer Bridgestone Reds, the alternates on, but losing 6 seconds. I mean, when they go away, they wouldn't go away that much.
No, like I said, it was because they contacted each other and almost came to a stop. But he's going to go into the pits because that's not going to work.
There is the 5 car of Will Power. Power down the front straightaway, and Allmendinger finally making the stop. 37 laps to go. Now is his fuel window open? We've had a lot of caution laps.
Nice and easy. Nice and easy.
They try to talk him through it, and obviously they're going to go with the standards.
You're clear.
He should. Yeah, he's just in the window. So they took the first opportunity to have enough fuel to get to the end. So he'll be good, but obviously he's got a lot of making up to do now.
We'll see where Allmendinger rejoins, being scored.
In front of the leader.
Oh, man, don't warm them up that way. That was a 9.6 second stop, by the way.
Good time, certainly, for the Rousport team. 3rd year they've all been together, so their game continues to be raised. What about Justin Wilson, his teammate, the CDW9, still 12th on the lead lap. 24-year-old A.J. Allmendinger, team based in Loveland, Colorado. A.J. now in Denver. Starting to get on a roll at the end of 2005, 2nd at Mexico City to close the season. Allmendinger back on the gas. Cameron Steele.
I just talked to Jeremy Dale on the A.J. Allmendinger crew, and he said that they may be able to make it all the way to the end. He says close, very close. The reason they came in, the tires were just going away on the rear.
He now has to try and keep from going a lap down. Now this is tricky because he's not really up to speed yet. Jeremy Dale wants to see what's happening. It's a case where he can't hold up the leader. but if he's fast enough, once he gets some heat in the brand new tires, he might be able to without incurring a penalty.
Allmendinger being scored 11th at the moment, just in front of his teammate Wilson. Allmendinger, a moment ago when we were watching the action on the racetrack, was busily trying to hold off Mario Dominguez and stay on the lead lap. There's Andrew Ranger. Right behind him, Will Power, the Aussie Vineyards number 5. So Ranger in the MyJack Conquest car is 8th, Power 9th. The battle starting to rage. Less than a second separating the two last time by. Power about 12 car lengths in arrears as they come down the front straightaway. Bill Stevens.
They're pretty happy down here in the Aussie Vineyards pit. Derek Walker, the team owner, has been watching very intently what's going on out there. We see what Will Power and Tagliani is doing. Remember, he had a podium finish in Long Beach. I said to Derek, I said, what a race. He says, man, this is a knicker gripper.
As only Derek can say.
Well, you drove for him. You heard all those expressions.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's
yes.
Preserve the tires.
Anytime you have to do a stint on the alternates, we're learning you have to preserve them.
Mario Dominguez, he has been credited with leading all the way. Now Bourdais was shown as the leader on the scoring monitor briefly as those two tangled back at about the 30 lap mark tonight, but after all the shuffling was complete and Champ Car officials took a look at things, well, Dominguez was put back at the front of the back. Of course, he got back around Bourdais on pit road during a caution period, so at the moment at least, Dominguez being credited with leading the whole.
Oh no!
He locks up the brakes. Dominguez misses the corner.
Oh,
Race leader Mario Dominguez spins the car. He was 2.5 seconds ahead of Bourdais. That no doubt will cost him the lead on lap number 67. And Dominguez comes out right in front of the car of A.J. Allmendinger, the Rousport 10 car. So Bourdais gets vaulted to the lead. Didn't even have to make a move.
Remember that thing we said? Unforced errors?
Yep.
That was the description of an unforced error. Came in a little too hot, lost concentration. Oh, that's brutal.
Now that was a very quick job by Dominguez to spin the car, keep it running, but that had to have cost him 20 seconds.
Well, cost him 2 spots.
Take a look at it. Bourdais is in front. Sebastian Bourdais, who started 5th, championship leader, he is out in front. One more look at what happened to Dominguez here.
Just same line as always.
Turn
got
5.
up there and just a little too hot. Got some front brake lockup, which is what you want. You always want the front brakes to lock just a little bit before the rear, just in case, or as the track gets a little more slippery, he missed the braking point. Now this was brilliant, to get it going, not to stall and get going again, but unfortunately, just that one little lapse of concentration. Remember, we talked about the fitness as well.
Yeah.
These guys are whipped, and you can make mental mistakes.
A third of the race left. Mario Dominguez gunning for his 3rd career victory, but with 33 to go, he runs out of racetrack. Bourdais is out in front. Tracy is 2nd. Dominguez, Tagliani, and Junqueira, the rest of the top 5 in Houston. We'll be back.
So start talking before they start drinking.
My parents won't believe it could happen to me.
Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. 31 laps to go. Bill Stevens.
Sebastian Bourdais into the pits. They're taking off the alternate tires and putting on, you can even see right there, brand new sticker tires on all 4 corners. Remember now, they were not very happy with the way that the Reds performed during practice and qualifying. If he's going to make a run, those are the tires they're going to want to make it with.
That was a 9.9 second stop, and we could see from the overhead view that Paul Tracy...
trouble. Huge wreck for Charles Zwolsman. The MyJack Conquest 34, the Speed Racer car. Zwolsman, obviously huge contact with the wall. He is done.
And that is perfect timing for Tracy and Bourdais to pit. If they had not pitted before, that would have hurt them. They got their stop done, and then the caution comes out. That's absolutely perfect timing.
Zwolsman had a really good run going. He had gotten up into 8th position in that 34 car. His 2nd career Champ Car start after a sterling career in the Champ Car Atlantic Championship. Have a look at what happened to him coming to the first turn.
Lock up. Oh, it was not his fault. Definitely not his fault.
Will Power got into the 34 car. He had locked up the brakes on the 34. Or the 5 car, I should say.
No better place to look at that. You can see that Will Power's in all kinds of trouble. He's just trying to get out. Oh, man, that's just... I was going to comment earlier that he was having a fantastic race.
He's waiting for Power to express his displeasure, I suspect you could say.
I mean, Will Power was in some kind of trouble there, for sure. But, when your front brakes lock up, let your foot off the brake. Get the things turning again.
Now Power alongside one of the Dale Coyne cars, the Sonny's Barbecue Machine. They will have to come and get the 34 with the hook here tonight. It is down in that little runoff area in the chicane. Your chance now to enter the Champ Car Live Fast sweepstakes presented by Bridgestone. Win a trip to the Grand Prix of Monterey next week, plus a set of Bridgestone Potenza pole position tires, an Auto Week subscription, where the grand prize winner gets a new Ford Mustang GT and a trip to Mexico City for the Champ Car finale. This week's code word is Catherine. For official rules and to enter, log on to champcar.ws. The Champ Car Live Fast sweepstakes is presented by Bridgestone. With the Ibicus, I'm Rick Benjamin, under caution tonight on lap number 72. 28 to go. One of the Champ Car safety team talking to Charles Wolfsman. He was very personable. We visited with him this morning for a few moments, and he was wearing that brace on his left wrist after that injury he suffered in testing, and then they kind of retweaked it, I guess, at Long Beach, but said it was a little bit sore, but not bad. He was looking forward to a good run tonight, and certainly was doing a fine job.
Every time that we saw him, he was aggressive. Anytime there was an opening, he just stuck the car right in there. You know, for a rookie, he was very, very impressive, and that was a case where, what are you going to do? I mean, that was a mugging.
Running order, top of your screen now. We saw A.J. Allmendinger pit under green at the very opening of his pit window. He had that problem. He was running fourth. We're thinking, of course, the track position that would vault him to the head of the class.
Well, no, because what happened was, that's why I said it was so important that Mario Dominguez, Bourdais, Tracy, they got in just before this caution. If they would have waited one more lap, then A.J. Allmendinger would have vaulted. And that's the thing you're always concerned about, getting caught by yellow. And their timing was absolutely perfect.
So Bourdais is the leader. Tracy in second. Dominguez and Tagliani, the top four. Bill Stevens.
Down here once again with Craig Hampson. An evening where it's just been up and down the emotions. After you pitted the yellow flag, and I saw you guys were high-fiving.
Well, we actually pitted a lap earlier than we planned to because I guess they ran Bruno out of fuel. And I was worried that it might go yellow for that, so we called him in a lap early, because if it had gone yellow and we had been out there, that would have been it. We would have been 10th or something. So I'm pleased with how that went. We're fine on fuel. We're back on the prime tires. It's now just a matter of holding Paul Tracy off, which we all know this could be very interesting with these two guys. Paul's got like 2 shots more push to pass, so, well, we'll see.
Fasten your seatbelts.
Paul Tracy has 34 seconds of Cosworth power to pass time remaining. Bourdais has just 19 seconds to go. Still under caution, 28 laps to go. Michelle Beiser with us this weekend here at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. She's been out and about at Reliant Park. Michelle, what else have you come up with this weekend?
All right, you guys, last night it was Oscar De La Hoya's fight night. Today, it's the EVP Tour, and I'm here with my partner, Leanne Harbaugh. Leanne, what's our strategy?
Oh, they've really been leaving that line open today all day, so we're really going to shoot for going down that line.
I was noticing that they were leaving the line open. Let's do it. All right, let's do it. Did you see that? You better watch out. I got boxing, I got volleyball.
Joining the EVP Tour. Michelle, she's been very busy here this week. All right, we're on board with Paul Tracy now. He's got the helmet cam on. He will restart right behind Sebastian Bourdais when we get back to green.
But no one has mentioned Mario Dominguez.
Yeah.
Mario Dominguez is thinking, man, I can't believe I did that. If he's going to be aggressive, he's going to try and get the lead back.
Off the restart, a great opportunity to give it a try. Field still under caution. 28 laps remaining tonight. The Champ Car World Series, the Grand Prix of Houston. They'll be right back for the restart. Full moon in Houston for the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. And a reminder that Live on Speed, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series returns this coming Friday night. Fastest tailgaters on earth attack Charlotte. Some fun under the lights. It's at 8:30 Eastern, presented by Dodge here on Speed. On board with the MyJack Conquest 34 car. Doesn't look very good now, does it?
Nice transition. Full moon, this is what happens. They
Yeah.
say there's a lot more accidents on the road on a full moon than at nighttime, and we've seen it here in Houston.
Well, if you follow the Champ Car World Series closely, you know that Sebastian Bourdais and his longtime fiancée Claire Ragot were married recently in Le Mans, France, Sebastian's hometown. And our cameras were there on May the 6th. Cathedral Saint-Julien, I believe. Team owner Paul Newman in attendance. Kevin Kalkoven there.
Alors officiellement.
Beautiful ceremony. they are now husband and wife. We congratulate Sebastian and Claire.
And he's on his honeymoon.
Is he?
He went, well.
What could be better than honeymooning in Houston?
No, they're going to have an official honeymoon later, but he came straight from the ceremony here. So honeymooning in Houston, which at this particular time, top of the charts, not too bad. Not too bad. Not as fun for Claire.
No.
But awesome for Sebastian.
Paul Newman, Carl Haas watching from on top of the timing stand. And driver Sebastian Bourdais in the McDonald's #1 is the race leader as we prepare for another restart. Now, Bruno Junqueira, you heard Greg Hampson say earlier, they ran the 2-car out of fuel, inadvertently, of course, trying to get Bruno back toward the front of the pack. Started on the front row, but he's back in 12th, couple of laps down to the leaders right now. Getting ready to go green. Cameron Steele.
I'm here with Charles Wolfsman, and at the first round in Long Beach, you took yourself out, but this time it looked like you got mugged.
Yeah, I was coming up on Will Power when he came out of the pits, and I had so much more speed than him, and then he locked his wheels coming into the first corner. He still turned in real early, and I was there, and he collected me. So it's a real shame. We were doing well. So
a disappointed Charles Wolfsman. We'll see how it works out in the third round in Monterey.
One more look at it. On board here with Wolfsman. Here he comes again.
See, he's just out of the pits. You know, I mean,
yeah.
Well,
what were you gonna do? So much more speed.
That's Wolfsman explaining Eric Bachelard and the rest of the team what happened.
What are you going to do? Not much.
No, not in a place like this. And one of the factors, of course, in temporary course racing, street circuits and that sort of thing, there's no runoff area to speak of here. You've got the concrete walls on both sides with the catch fencing.
Green flag to you. Good clean run to the end, man.
Getting word from Champ Gar from timing and scoring, the officials, that Will Power will be assessed a drive-through penalty as we get set for the restart. They're calling it avoidable contact. Now Power is 6th at the moment. The drive-through will put him way back, I would think, at the back of the lead lap cars. Justin Wilson, last car in the lead lap, now in 10th. A.J. Allmendinger has moved back up to 9th after his first pit stop, which came under green. Lights out on the Ford Mustang safety car. We'll be restarting this time by Paul Tracy right behind Sebastian Bourdais, the two protagonists. Dominguez 3rd, Tagliani 4th. Turn 9, heading to the stripe, and big jump from Bourdais.
And Tracy's on the reds, so Tracy likes those, even though Dominguez does not.
23 laps to go next time by. Braking for the chicane.
And so is Dominguez. So even though they seem to have trouble at the end of the stint, they both decided that the Bridgestone alternate reds are the way to go. We'll see who's right.
Well, only 23 laps left. That would be a short stint on those tires, off of this caution at least, but they've had them on for a while. On board with Tracy. Turn 4. Back to Bill Stevens.
Guys, I think we're getting set up here for a real shootout. I just spoke to Neil Mickelwright of Forsyth Racing. I asked him point blank, is Paul Tracy going to go after this thing? He says Paul has plenty of race car, and when he said it, he had a twinkle in his eye.
Now we will see. Tracy's got 34 seconds of Cosworth power to pass time remaining. And remember, he's got 75 horsepower on tap on that button tonight. We told you earlier, Champ Car officials decided, along with Cosworth, to dial the base power back to 725. Max power is still 800. So when you hit the button, you've got, 11 seconds per burst of 75 additional horsepower.
And 11 seconds is the time of the longest straightaway. That's why they picked that number. So it was going to be longer initially, but they've added this chicane, so therefore 11 seconds is the number. You do it at every racetrack. Whenever the longest you're on full throttle is the longest you can use the Cosworth power to pass.
A 1 second lead for Bourdais. Last time over the stripe, 23 to go. Dominguez, who started on the pole tonight, his first career pole, led the first 66 laps in that car before running out of brakes at the end of this long sweeper, turn 4.
And Mario has always said that he loves pressure. To have an opportunity to be up front and have people pushing him, he says he thrives on that. But unfortunately, whether it was a lapse of concentration, whether it was just hitting a bump just in the wrong way, unfortunately, that unforced error, if he ends up 3rd, although you would think, great, being on the podium, he's really going to be bummed.
Oh, sure. 2 career wins. This is 65th start, and he wanted one here tonight. Justin Wilson now, the CDW 9 car for the Rousport team. Wilson up to 7th. He has battled back after early race struggles. Let's listen to this Ford Cosworth motor sing here in Houston.
165 at the end of the straight. Down to 35.
Nelson Philippe up in front there, the 9 car. Philippe 6th at the moment. He's had problems and has battled back tonight. The CTE HVM team.
55 there. Down to 50.
Coming up on 20 laps to go, and Wilson 7th, 10 seconds off the lead, drawing a beat on Philippe for 6th. If Wilson could get a top 5 here tonight, that would be a great accomplishment, considering how badly things were going for them in the first 20 laps.
As much time as he spent in the pits and backwards, yes, that just shows that perseverance pays. A couple of full course cautions don't hurt either.
Now here is young Nelson Philippe, the Burden of Bear Entertainment 4. Great paint scheme on that car for the CTHVM team. They won the Sherwin-Williams Finishes Award at Long Beach. Team Australia gathering up that award here this weekend. Second race of the season. Sherwin-Williams paints the official finish of the Champ Car World Series. Philippe's still only 19. This is his 3rd season in Champ Car. Among the most naturally talented young drivers we've seen in a long time. Here's Wilson, though, right up behind him.
And Nelson Philippe doesn't have near the speed as Justin Wilson, and it shows that you really have to plan things out if Justin Wilson's going to pick up the spots.
Wilson patiently aggressive is what we've seen from him in his brief time in the series. Heading toward the final turn, back to the front stretch. Bourdais 1.1 seconds ahead of Tracy at the head of the class. And now Wilson's lost some contact with Philippe.
Yeah, Nelson Philippe was very good off the final corner, turn 9. And if you're going to be good at any corner on the racetrack, it wants to be the one that leads on to the longest straightaway.
Through the chicane, turn 2 now, short shoot to 3. Back behind Wilson's Andrew Ranger, who's done a nice job tonight on the Tide, my Jack Conquest 27 car. Allmendinger 9th.
Although the average laps are not that fast here, there's enough fast sections here to where he is feeling some of the aerodynamic turbulence from Nelson Philippe. So his car is not going to be as strong. The slower the corner, the less the effect. So you'll find that he's closer on the slower corners, and as soon as there's any aerodynamics involved, it definitely upsets the car.
Team Australia, Aussie Vineyards 15, got a glimpse of Alex Tagliani there, steady 4th, 5.5 seconds back. Oriol Servia in the 6th car, he is 5th. He's about 1.4 seconds behind Tag. That's the battle for 4th. Tagliani through the chicane. He missed the corner. As we watch Tag come back on the throttle now, and he may have to give up some ground. Bill Stevens.
Down here with Derek Walker of Team Australia. We saw that happen simultaneously, Derek. Is that going to be a problem?
It's a big problem. We've probably lost 6th place at least. But, that's racing. I'm sure it was an unfortunate error. But we've got our penalty now. We're trying to track down Allmendinger and get 9, see what we can do.
Just before that, they were a couple of seconds ahead of Oriol Servia and a couple of seconds behind Mario Dominguez. And now the deck's been shuffled.
Well, Derek was referencing Will Powers' penalty that was assessed earlier. Powers back in 10th, battling with Allmendinger. Meantime, Tagliani in the 15 car, the other Aussie Vineyards machine, he was up in 4th. Ran through the chicane area there, and we'll see if a penalty will be assessed to that car. Up front, it's Bourdais. Tracy a 2.5 seconds back. Here's your leader in the McDonald's Newman Haas number 1. Tracy in the Forsyth Index car, a 2.5 seconds back. 18 laps to go. The Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. We'll be right back. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Second race of 2006, the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. Wednesday on Speed, don't miss Pinks, a duel between a 95 Honda Civic and an 89 Mazda RX-7 and 2 trucks hauling more than lumber. Best 3 out of 5 drag race. Winner takes all on Pinks Wednesday night, 9 Eastern, only here on Speed. Alongside Jan Vikas, Iberick Benjamin, Bill Stevens, Cameron Steele on pit road. And there is the lovely Claire Bourdais watching her husband lead the show here at Houston. First time for Champ Car back in the Lone Star State in 5 years, and everyone very excited about the return of Champ Car racing to the city of Houston. Bourdais started 5th tonight. Jan, things have fallen his way. He's been very patient, worked his way to the front. He's stretched his lead over Paul Tracy to 2.8 seconds. Bourdais seems to have things going very much his way as Jan Halen rolls through the chicane. Now let's show you what's happened. We've had a wild night here on the streets of Houston around Reliant Park. Early on, there was contact here involving Justin Wilson. Nicky Pastorelli's had an eventful night on the Rocket Sports 8 car. Got together there with Jan Halen. Justin Wilson caught some of the action, spinning the car more than once. A little while ago, Catherine Legg and Speedy Dan Clark got together. And then Bruno Juncker and A.J. Allmendinger tangled, and they both managed to stay off the wall. This was the hardest hit of the night just a few moments ago. Charles Wolzman and Will Power. Power had just come off pit road, evidently didn't see Wolzman, locked up his brakes. Wolzman took the 34 car into the concrete. Sebastian Bourdais, after his final pit stop, stretching it out over Paul Tracy. Now, PT still has 34 seconds. Cosworth Power to pass time, but have a look at this over the last 5 laps from 1.1 seconds to 2.8 seconds. Bourdais seems to be headed to the house.
And he's on the tires that he likes, and Paul Tracy is on the tires that some people have had trouble with at the end of their stint. And so unless something happens to Bourdais, everyone was hoping maybe, going to Le Mans, getting married, somehow he might be just a little bit distracted. Not happening.
Didn't seem to be. There's Catherine Legg back on the racetrack. Had that contact with Speedy Dan Clark, who's being posted 16th. Catherine 14th. She's lost 15 laps after the contact and the repairs, but wanted points, certainly wanted seat time. Her first season in Champ Car with the PKV team. After a stunning debut in the Atlantic Championship last year, the 3 wins, including that terrific victory in her debut at Long Beach. Here comes Justin Wilson now, still trying to get by Nelson Philippe. This is for 6th.
That's a good job by Nelson Philippe, because we have seen that Justin Wilson's got some very nice speed now that they got this thing settled down. And Nelson Philippe, like you said, for his young age, is very, very steady, not making any mistakes.
On board Wilson, the CDW9 car. Out of the Rue Sports stables, his teammate A.J. Allmendinger, who had his tires go away when he was a strong 4th. They had to pit him early. Allmendinger still 9th. Still on the lead lap, but big contact again. Is that Servia? He is right in the racing line, but there is room to sneak through. I believe that's the 6th car. And I believe that is Oriol Servia's machine.
He completely slowed down in the middle of the straight line, like he had a problem, and then he turned the fucking corner.
With 13 laps to go, J.D. Wilbur puts out the full course yellow yet again. Teams looking up at the monitors. And the PKV 6 car, the Gulfstream machine, heavily damaged. Contact with one of the Aussie Vineyards cars.
Tell me... No, that's Tagliani.
Yeah, Alex Tagliani turned
But that's the
in there.
exact same thing that Will Power did.
Tag and
That's
Servia.
a double mugging.
They were battling for 4th position. And Servia's night is over, his 100th Champ Car start. That cake won't taste very, very nice at the end of the evening here for Oriol Servia.
Now the difference is they were at least racing for a position. It wasn't like Tagliani had just left the pits, but.
All right, let's get packed up. Get packed up.
It's funny how the perspective changes. You hear on that, well, he hit me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit you because you. Anyway, I think it's obvious.
Well, it's pretty tight there. I mean,
I know.
For any of these drivers who've run here this weekend, it does funnel down quite a bit to the
course.
chicane at the end of the straightaway there. Here is Tagliani, still shown in 4th. Dominguez 3rd. As they get ready, the call from Champ Car, pack it up for the restart. 12 to go. One more look here.
Well, okay. All right.
Did Servia try to go where there was no room?
Well, Servia went later than I thought at first. That's a very good angle to show that Servia ducked in there later than I thought. Initially, it looked like he was alongside, and then Tagliani turned in. So I may need
One more look.
Yeah, see, he's already turning.
Yeah.
All right, so I take that back, and that's why it's so awesome to have a camera right there. If you take it a little bit later, it looks like he got chopped, but Oriol Servia went in and took that too late.
Again, a look. And Tag had locked up his brakes at that point.
Yeah, see, look, from that view, it looks as though Tag has seen him and said, nope, I'm taking the corner. But the camera that was right at the apex there showed that Oriol Servia just a little late getting in position.
So heavy contact in the chicane. Oriol Servia's night is done in car number 6, the Bell Micro PKV entry. Tough night for Servia, the Spaniard, making his 100th career start. All right, we'll take the opportunity to grab a quick timeout before we go back to green with 12 to go. The Grand Prix of Houston.
In the country. Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Second race of 2006, the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston at Reliant Park. Tuesday night on Speed, an all-new build or bust. Jim builds race cars. Can he build a dream bike in 30 days? The pressure is on when Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top stops by for a visit. Build or bust is Tuesday nights, 10 Eastern, only on Speed. Iverick Benjamin with Jan Beekes. Field getting set for a restart here. There'll be 10 laps to go. There are 10 laps to go. There'll be 9 to go when the green reappears. So if PT has anything for Bourdais, now is certainly the time to place his cards on the table and make that call. He's got 34 seconds of Cosworth power to pass time remaining. Bourdais bidding to open the season with back-to-back wins, coming off 2 consecutive Champ Car championships. He would be the first Champ Car driver since Ted Horn back in the 40s to win 3 consecutive titles if he can get the deal done this year. And the yellow flags remain out. Carl Haas and Paul Newman watching things from the timing stand. Jerry Forsyth, who owns the 2 Indec cars, running second and third. Paul Tracy, Mayo Dominguez. You can tell, I think, just by the expressions, who's where.
Yep, you can, because Bourdais is in the catbird seat. He is definitely a little nervous anytime you see Paul Tracy, who has more Cosworth power to pass, behind you, and you have a caution and you have a nice lead. But he is excellent at the restarts, but so is Paul Tracy.
Yeah. All right, 9 to go. Lights are still on the safety car, so we're not ready for the restart quite yet. Now, Bourdais would open with 2 consecutive wins this season. Hasn't been done in a while. Looking back at the record books, well, Paul Tracy, the year he won the championship, won the first 3 races.
What's going to happen is that Sebastian Bourdais is going to punch the button when he goes to the restart. He has 19 seconds left. We know that he'll burn, well, could burn as much as 11. So that means he's only left with 8 seconds, whereas Paul Tracy will have 2 more shots. Bill?
Down here with Claire, who is the wife, of course, of Sebastian Bourdais, and look at the smile on your face. It's been quite an eventful weekend, hasn't it?
Well, for now it's going well, but we had a lot of ups and downs this weekend, so I'm really glad the way it's going for now, but it's not done yet. So just we'll stay focused until the end.
I see you with a notebook and a pen. I guess your old man's got you working, huh?
Well, I'm trying to maintain his website, so I'm just taking notes for the race so I can write my story afterwards.
You're really busy. You're working with the Atlantic team too, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm also helping out. I just need to feel, busy and feel like I'm doing something with my life too. So.
Well, congratulations on your marriage. It was really exciting to see you here this weekend, and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Newman Haas team settling in on pit road. Pace car team giving the field the indication, getting ready to go here shortly. Bourdais with the visor up, still pretty warm here tonight, not nearly as hot as it's been this week. We've had a couple of humid days, temperatures in the upper 80s. Yellow flag stays out.
I love the way they're keeping the pace car back and trying to keep them bunched up. They're using the pace car tonight to where they're really hanging it back, and I like that.
Field realigning for the restart. Now, unfortunately, we've lost one of our cameras here in the waning laps. We're going to show you what happened a moment ago and tell you why. That's why. No one injured, but minus some cable, I'm told, at one of the runoff areas here. So, brake lockup has been a problem at many points on the racetrack this weekend.
And that was on a pace lap.
Yeah.
So, good time to lose the brakes.
I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
better than under
well,
green.
the fronts were working, but it looked like the rears were not. And thankfully, it wasn't at full saw.
Now, are there different brake packages teams can elect to run in the Champ Car World Series?
Yes, you can run heavier and more longevity, or you can run lighter and a little more effective. So that's like all racing type things.
Getting ready for the restart with Paul Tracy on board. Cameron Steele.
Well, Neil, we got to ask you, what's the game plan here as we wind down the race?
Obviously we're not sure how soon he's going to go green again with the issue that Tagliani's had where he appears to have lost his brakes, but we're not sure that we have an awful lot for Bourdais. His car's pretty quick, but there are 8 laps to go right now. Hopefully there'll still be 5 or 6 when we get the green flag. We'll just do the best that we can. We may not have anything for him.
What about the Ford Cosworth power to pass? You have more than Bourdais does.
We have a little bit more than that, but of course, the opportunities to use it and make the most of the potential that it offers, diminishes as you get the tyres worn out towards the latter part of the race. So certainly we don't plan on coming back with anything left on the table, but whether that'll be enough to make a difference, who knows.
Thank you, Neil. He's downplaying it a little bit, but a dogfight between Tracy and Bourdais, I think, is expected all along pit row.
Now there's Will Power in the Aussie Vineyards 5, but that was Alex Tagliani who ran out of the brakes and cut our camera cable just a few moments ago. Tag was up in 4th, had that impact that we showed you not many laps ago. wonder if that affected his brakes, that hit with Serbia.
Well, it certainly could have. There was significant contact there, and if they made some repairs and somehow there was a brake line that was somehow kinked or broken, that's what will happen. And that's why these cars have dual master cylinders, so you would never lose the front and the rear brakes both. And that's why there was smoke off the front brakes, and at least it slowed them down somewhat. Bill?
I know this can be a dangerous question on live television, but what's the strategy right now?
Well, we have 2 shots of push to pass. Paul's got 4. So we're going to need to be smart. Sebastian just needs to have one really good restart here. But there's not going to be much of racing because this is a timed race now. And I think there's only going to be like 3 green flag laps, 2 green flag laps. So as long as we get a good restart, we should be okay.
Everybody knows 2 into 4 will go.
Now the time element has come into play here. The race distance shortened to 100 laps, as we told you at the top of the broadcast, when the race track was lengthened by about 6/10, or I should say 6/100ths of a mile. And now, of course, the 2-hour time limit comes into play. We've had so many caution laps here tonight. Top left of your screen, you can see our clock. 3 minutes, 50 seconds to go before we reach the 2-hour limit. Now, you can't finish a lap, of course, but with 7 laps to go and the race pace is about 1:02, we will be a couple of laps short of the 100-lap planned distance here tonight. So this is playing out perfectly if you're Sebastian Bourdais, I would say. Paul Tracy only has a couple of laps to work with, he really gets one chance on this restart.
Well, you know what? Even Sebastian Bourdais, well, maybe not. I was going to say maybe he would even like to fight it out with Paul Tracy under green if he had the opportunity. But I know they want to be concerned about what might be happening with Alex Tagliani because there were still safety trucks in that area trying to fix it. And my goodness, look at the way it's moved the tires and the wall there.
So Tag clearly was almost totally out of brakes when he went down through there. That's where we lost our camera cable and thus our picture from that area several minutes ago. And the Champ Car safety team down there, and tough break. Tagliani had that contact with Serbia down into turn 1. There's Tag, the veteran, first career Champ Car win coming 2 seasons ago at Road America, where we will be in September after 1 year away. We're looking forward to it.
So they told him 1 to go, but because it's a timed race.
Bourdais will be the restart leader. Lights out, it appears, on the safety car.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Looks like we're ready for a restart. Clock winding down. There's the time left. 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Top left of your screen. Now what's going on here?
No, he's just warming up the tires. He knows how to get into Bourdais' head. Don't forget, I'm right here. If you make a move, I'll be there.
And watching this the last couple of seasons as we've covered the Champ Car World Series, it has been a wonderful rivalry between these two. They get under each other's skin a good bit. The teams certainly have a great rivalry. Craig Hampson taking a look at the scoring monitor and at the telemetry. Bourdais with 19 seconds.
Be ready. It's going green and white. Green flag and white flag. 1 to go when you pass.
Green, white, checkered. 1 lap remaining of racing here tonight at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston as Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Top running Roche France Rookie of the Year at this point. How about Will Power, 7th?
Yeah, here's where it all comes together. Oh, and Sebastian.
He's when you get ready, this is going to be the last lap. You're going to start the last lap.
Safety car is in. Turn 9, coming to the stripe.
Sebastian got a huge jump.
Bourdais is the leader. Dominguez 3rd behind Tracy.
And everybody's on the button.
Nobody's holding anything back. 4th spot belongs to Nelson Philippe, who's had his struggles tonight.
But Bourdais lost a little time there. He lost some more. Bourdais having trouble with the front of the car. It's not turning. Paul Tracy might have a shot.
Now remember, this is the high-speed part of the racetrack. One of the 2 around turn 4. It's a huge sweeper, but Bourdais gets a good jump. Tracy wiggles a little.
Remember, Paul Tracy is the master when the tires are cold, but I have a feeling that was a temporary thing for Bourdais. He had lots of trouble getting the thing turned in. That's what happens. You pick up some pickup when you're behind the pace car for long periods.
Sebastian Bourdais hoping to go back-to-back to open the 2006 Champ Car World Series season. He won at Long Beach. He's got an 0.8 of a second lead over Tracy. Dominguez 3rd, Philippe is 4th, Wilson up to 5th in front of Ranger. The Forsyth team, they know this one is all but over. And here comes Bourdais to the stripe, Sebastian Bourdais.
We showed them how tough we are today, fellas. Good job. Great job, Chubb. Great drive.
Bourdais comes home the winner. The Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston to the driver of the McDonald's car number 1. Paul Tracy runs second. Dominguez is third. Bill Stevens.
Oh, there is elation down here in the McDonald's team, as you can imagine, after a breeze in Long Beach. This is a team that really worked hard. You guys earned your money tonight, Craig.
Well, I'm really proud of this team. I mean, we worked so hard over the winter, every one of these guys. It hasn't been an easy weekend on us. A lot of things just kind of haven't gone our way. We've made some mistakes. But we've had a fast car, and I think we have the fastest driver, and we've got the best team and the best sponsor and the best owners. And, well, we're just going to keep trying to do that all year.
Great job.
Thank you.
Sebastian Bourdais, is he on his way to a third straight Vanderbilt Cup?
Certainly off to a great start. He is the points leader, of course, and with the win, Bourdais from 5th on the grid tonight. 66 points his unofficial total after 2 seasons. His 18th career victory on the tour. He led 30 laps tonight. He's now led 1,148 laps in his Champ Car career, which is just in its early 4th season. Fireworks being displayed over the Astrodome tonight here at Reliant Park in Houston, and the fans applauding Sebastian Bourdais, who wins the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. We'll come back, talk to the winner, cover the other stories that are important as Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. The Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston is complete. Sebastian Bourdais wins 2 in a row to begin the 2006 Champ Car season. Serving up those donuts once again here at Reliant Park in Houston, Texas. Fireworks display continues over the Astrodome tonight. Bourdais ready to climb out of the race car in victory lane. Bill Stevens.
Oh, hey, look at this. Just an absolute pandemonium scene down here as Sebastian Bourdais is out of the car and receives the congratulations from his well-wishers. Sebastian, I gotta ask you. Before the race, we talked, and you mentioned about the confidence level. But from what we saw here tonight, there didn't seem to be a confidence problem at all with your team.
No, it's got these days. Sometimes you get the fantastic car. Well, really hard this winter to achieve that, but I could not really expect anything like that.
Talk a little bit about the misfortune tonight, the pit incident, and being warned for blocking.
Well, the warning, it was just was one of these deals where you kind of, defend without blocking, but, you kind of move a little bit and didn't really want to take a chance with PT. So, and in the meantime, I got hit pretty bad by Mario, who defended his position quite badly, I should say. So, it's racing. Everybody wants to win.
What were your thoughts when you got the lead, lost it on the pit stop?
I kind of felt sweet. It was like, we really deserved this one, and maybe there's justice for the McDonald's car.
I know it's very early in the season, but 2 victories to start off the 2006 campaign. A good springboard for the rest of the season now.
Yeah, you can't really start any better than that, but as you said, it's a long way to go.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
So Bourdais wins by 1.2 seconds over Paul Tracy. 2 for 2 to open the season. Dominguez comes home in 3rd spot. He's got to be disappointed after qualifying on the pole.
He does. It was one of those things that we spoke about in the Open, an unforced error. And poor Mario Dominguez is going to be watching that, be playing that in his head. Only if it wasn't for that escape road, it could have been me.
And Nelson Felipe, I think, did a terrific job to get 4th out of this tonight.
Very consistent, had serious heavy pressure from Justin Wilson, and never wavered.
Wilson went off a couple of times, still gets credit for 5th. Alex Tagliani, Oriol Serbia tangled late. Jan Heylen, Leggs, Wolzman, Clark. Nicky Pastorelli was the first car behind the wall. Cameron Steele.
Well, I've caught up with Paul Tracy, and obviously frustrated, probably looking for your first win since late June of last year. Talk about the blocking that happened.
Well, it's just, every guy that Sebastian passed, he passed me. I stayed on the racing line and gave him the room. He passed his teammate. He stayed on the racing line, gave him the room. I didn't see the pass on Mario, but on the restart, he tried to make a move on Mario and didn't make it happen, and then I got a big run on him and came down the front straightaway on the push to pass and was going to go to the inside of him, and he just faded me to the inside and got off the racing line and blocked the move. So it's pretty clear in the rule book and the drivers' meetings we've had that that's not acceptable under any circumstances. But I guess when you're Sebastian Bourdais, you can do what you want.
Do you think it made the difference in the evening for you?
Well, I think it was a tactical race for us. I mean, the black tires tonight seem to be a little bit better than the reds, and I was quicker than him at the time when he was on reds and I was blacks, and then when we switched, it flip-flopped. He was a little bit quicker than me, but it was, if once we had gotten in front, maybe I could have stayed in front of him.
Definitely much better than getting taken out in the first corner at Long Beach. A second place for Paul Tracy. Rick, back up to you.
Well, no love lost between Tracy and Bourdais as the rivalry continues to rage. They run 1-2. Bourdais celebrating here in Houston with the fans up on the fence. Bill Stevens.
Down with Mario Dominguez. Emotionally, winning the pole, leading the race, finishing second. Is there any way to describe what's in your head right now?
Yeah, it was tough. To tell the truth, Bourdais did a good job. He put a lot of pressure on me. He was saving fuel. I knew he was saving fuel. I had to save fuel too, and at the same time lead the race and go fast. And at one point, I just locked the brakes too much. Because to save fuel, you have to carry a lot of speed into the corners, and I couldn't hold on. So it's too bad. I made a mistake. The team did a great job. I'd like to thank the whole Foresight racing team and my engineer, Michael Cannon. Gave me a great car. But the good thing is, we've shown improvement. We've shown that we can do it. We can be on the pole. We can run with them. And I think for Monterey, we're going to go for the revenge.
And we'll know about that in a week, guys.
Now, he'll have plenty of incentive. Now he knows he can start up front, and he knows he can win races. He has 2 career wins. Sebastian Bourdais is your winner. Back with more from the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. The post-race celebration continues. We'll be back. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Our coverage today has been brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence. And by Ford, bold moves. Take a look at the season standings now with 2 races complete. Sebastian Bourdais is the leader. Dominguez moves to second, 18 back. Wilson, Ranger, and Alex Tagliani the first 5.
And certainly Sebastian Bourdais has had every point but one.
Now, we heard from Paul Tracy at the top of the broadcast. He said, hey, I need to score points tonight after coming into the back of the field in Long Beach. He's gotten himself to 8th by running second here tonight. Bill Stevens.
Down here with Justin Wilson. I spoke to him before the race. I said, you look like you were driving like a man possessed in practice and qualifying. That doesn't compare to what I saw tonight. What a ride to finish 5th.
Yeah, it was an eventful night. It started off pretty bad going into the chicane and just got hit from behind and knocked into a spin. So that put us basically a lap down, and we were fighting. We weren't really quick enough to hang on in that first stint. But like I said earlier, we had so many ups and downs. Kept coming back, getting back into a position, pass a few cars, go back again, and so it's been tough.
Hey, has this guy got game? Show everybody the palms of your hands, Justin. Look at the blisters from the steering wheel caused by the bumps on this racetrack, but it didn't slow him down. Pretty impressive. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. It's just pleased to get something out of tonight. The whole CDW Car 9 team have done a great job. Kept working at it, and we got some kind of result.
I think you're in some fans tonight.
That made me cringe to see that. That's why we saw Mario Dominguez and other drivers wrap their hands like a boxer.
Well, his were wrapped. You could see there was still the adhesive there. Yeah. So even through the wrap, you get that. I would imagine if you looked at many of the drivers up and down, they would have similar type effects on the hands.
Well, Justin Wilson, 5th tonight. That certainly keeps him very much in the thick of the points chase. But Bourdais, by winning 2 in a row, now he didn't gain a point. We didn't talk much about it tonight, but Thursday first-round qualifying, when he was the fastest, he was disqualified. He gave up a point there. He had to start all over again in second-round qualifying and had to come from 5th on the grid tonight. But Bourdais keeps, I think, a very strong record intact as the victory lane ceremonies continue here. He's won now 5 in a row at brand-new Champ Car venues over the last couple of years. Cameron Steele.
I'm here with Nelson Philippe, who betters his best ever 7th with the 4th place finish here tonight. That's got to be gratifying to you.
It's awesome. We had a very up and down race, and I'm glad we could come out on top, if you can say that. We did 4 pit stops, so we definitely didn't think we were going to end up here, but like I said before I went inside the car, I told my team I'm not going to give up, I'm going to push the whole way, and it paid off. 4th it's not quite the podium yet, but I'll take it.
He said before the interview that he was ready for the podium in Monterey. We'll see if he can do it.
Nelson Felipe at age 19, a very bright future ahead, and he was very good at Monterey a year ago, very much in contention through a lot of the afternoon. Now, Paul Tracy and Sebastian Bourdais smiling at the moment, although there was a little bit of chappiness there between those two, as we heard and as we saw. Our Roche France Rookie of the Year standings: Will Power, a 7th tonight. He was the top placing rookie. Halen, Legg, and Zwolsman. Dan Clark, Nicky Pastorelli, who made his first Champ Car start tonight, but struggled with a Rocket Sports machine that just was not on pace and had brake issues. He is credited with 17th at this point. So we're ready to head to Mexico in just a couple of days. Mario Dominguez, national hero there. He will have a lot on his shoulders at Fundadora Park. Next Sunday, we will be on the air for you. Round 3 of Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Sunday afternoon at Monterey. The Tecate Grand Prix of Monterey presented by Roche France. Our coverage at 2 Eastern on Speed, a south of the border showdown. Our re-air of this event Wednesday at noon Eastern on Speed. Up next, Speed's NASCAR Victory Lane from Darlington. Rayon Bekas, Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens, and Michelle Beisner. I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating our winner, Sebastian Bourdais. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.